Hey everyone, welcome! You know that feeling when you're using a web app, but it's so fast and fluid it feels like a native app on your phone? Well, chances are you've experienced the magic of client-side routing. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on React Router, the go-to library that makes it all happen.
So, let's just jump right into the core question, right? The whole reason React Router even exists. How in the world do you give users that feeling of clicking through different pages when, technically, they never actually leave the one page that loaded in their browser? It's a bit of a mind bender, but that's the problem we're solving.
Okay, let's really break this down. You've definitely experienced the old way, server-side routing. You click a link and flash. A blank white screen while the whole page reloads from the server. It feels slow, it feels clunky. Now contrast that with client-side routing, which is what React Router gives us. It's a total game changer. The entire app loads just once. After that, clicking around is instantaneous. It's not reloading anything, it's just cleverly swapping out components right there in your browser. And that is the secret sauce behind that super smooth, modern app feel.
You know, a really good way to think about this is to picture React Router as the air traffic controller for your app's interface. Seriously, it's constantly watching that URL bar. The moment you navigate to, say, /dashboard, React Router springs into action. It says, OK, dashboard component, you're cleared for landing, and seamlessly guides it into view without causing any other part of the UI to even blink.
All right, so how do we actually build this thing? This traffic control system? Well, it's actually way simpler than you might think. It really just comes down to 3 core building blocks. Let's dive in and see what they are.
First things first, you've got browser gap. Now, this is important. You have to wrap your entire application with this component. Think of it like the master power switch for your whole routing system. You flip it on, and suddenly your app is aware of the browser's URL and ready to start navigating.
Okay, so once the power is on, you need a routes component. This guy acts like a central switchboard. Its job is super focused. It looks at the current URL, compares it to a list of all your possible pages, and then intelligently picks the one correct component to show.
And that brings us to the route component itself. This is where the magic really happens. It's just a simple rule. You're literally just telling React, hey, when the URL path is exactly /home, I want you to render the home/component. That's it. It's a direct mapping from a path to a component.
And here's what that looks like all put together. See, you've got your browser router on the outside, the routes switchboard on the inside, and then individual route rules for each page. One for home, one for login. It creates this really clean, easy-to-read map of your entire application structure.
Okay, great. We've got our pages mapped out, but how does a user actually move between them? A static map isn't enough, right? We need to make this interactive. Let's get into how we actually navigate.
Now, this is probably one of the most important things to get right. Your gut instinct coming from regular HTML is to use an A tag for a link. Please, don't do it. An anchor tag will trigger a full page reload, which completely defeats the purpose of a single page app. It throws away all your state and brings back that clunky, old-school experience. Instead, you always want to use the link component from React Router. It prevents the reload, handles the navigation on the client side, and keeps everything snappy and smooth.
Okay, but what about pages that aren't static? I mean, think about it. You can't create a separate route for every single user's profile page or for every one of the thousands of products on an e-commerce site. So how do we handle that?
The answer is something called URL parameters. It's brilliant. Instead of a hard-coded path, you create a route with a dynamic part, a placeholder. So you'd write something like products/ID. That little colon tells React Router, hey, whatever comes after products/ is a variable. So when a user goes to products/1234, the router automatically knows that 1234 is the ID we're looking for.
So how do we actually grab that 1234 from the URL and use it in our component? It's so easy, it almost feels like cheating. React Router gives us a hook called useParams. You just call it, and boom, it gives you an object with all the parameters from the URL. So that one line of code, const ID equals useParams, is all you need. Now you have the ID, and you can go fetch the data for that specific product.
All right, we've got the basics down. Navigation, dynamic pages. Now, let's level up. We're going to talk about 2 patterns that you will absolutely use in any real professional app: shared layouts and protected routes.
I mean, just think about pretty much any web app you use, right? Especially a dashboard. There's always a sidebar that stays put, or a header at the top that never changes, even as you click around and the main content area updates. That's a shared layout, and it's a super common pattern.
So how do we build that? The secret ingredient is a special component called outlet. It's pretty cool. You create your main layout component, your dashboard with the sidebar and header, and then right where you want the changing content to appear, you just pop in this outlet. It basically acts as a placeholder that tells React Router, okay, whatever the active child page is, render it right here.
And here's how that looks in your route setup. You define a parent route for your dashboard layout, but then look, you nest other route components inside of it. By putting the overview route inside the dashboard route, you're creating a parent-child relationship. This tells React Router that the overview component should be rendered inside the dashboard's outlet. It's a super clean and elegant way to build out complex nested UIs.
Okay, let's talk security. Obviously, you can't just let anyone wander into your app's dashboard. That's where protected routes come in. The logic is actually really straightforward. You build a special wrapper component. Inside that component, you just check, is the user logged in? If the answer is yes, great, you render the page they were trying to see. If the answer is no, you use another component called navigate to boot them right back to the login page. It's an absolutely essential pattern for any app that has user accounts.
Wow, we have covered a lot. To wrap this all up, let's quickly go over a few best practices and common questions. This is the stuff that will really help you master the router.
Okay, this is a big one. A question I see all the time is, should I use React Router or Next.js? And the answer is, it depends. They're both great, but for different things. As you can see here, React Router is king for client-side rendered single-page apps. Think complex dashboards, admin tools, things that live behind a login. But if you're building something that needs strong SEO, like a public blog or an e-commerce site, Next.js is probably your better bet because of its built-in server-side rendering and file-based routing.
And finally, let me save you some future headaches. Here are some of the most common mistakes people make. We already hammered this one home. Use link, not a. Another classic is building a layout and forgetting to add the outlet. Your child routes just won't show up. Also, please add a catch-all route for 404 pages. It's just a route with path equals star at the very end. And of course, don't forget to wrap sensitive areas with your protected route component. Nailing these will save you so much debugging time.
So here's the bottom line. React Router isn't just some random library you bolt on. It is a truly foundational skill for any React developer. Once you really get these concepts, from the basic route to nested layouts with outlet element, you have the power to architect pretty much any kind of web application you can imagine, from a tiny personal blog all the way up to a massive enterprise SaaS platform.
Look, it's an incredibly powerful tool, and it's the backbone of so many of the apps you use every single day. You now have the roadmap for building modern, fluid user experiences. So, the only question left is, what are you going to build?